And welcome everybody to the latest episode of Game Rivals. I'm your host Maximilian X, and this is a very special episode, as you can probably see. And if you're not watching this, I will tell you now. This is a special episode of Game Rivals. This is our holiday episode of Game Rivals. I think it's been a while since we've actually done one of these, so I'm really happy that I can share it with two lovely people that I can gladly and lovingly call friends. NaomiLasagna and RiceBoyyyTV.
Woo! Hello, everybody.
Welcome, welcome. Please introduce yourselves to the lovely listeners and viewers.
Sure, I'll go first. I'm NaomiLasagna. I am a gamer. I'm a streamer. I'm a content creator. I started streaming in April of 2021. And it's kind of just taken off from there. I like to create content on my Instagram mainly, but also on Shorts and TikTok. And I've done quite a few partnerships in the last few years. So that's been amazing. And obviously, making friends with Max has been one of the highlights of that journey.
Great. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
And my name is Rice Boy from RiceBoyyyTV, otherwise known as Rice, Renzi, Renz. There's a whole bunch of nicknames I got in high school as well, but we won't go through those ones. And I'm happy to just be a person who wears many different hats. I love learning different facets of content creation, and while I love to kind of creatively put things together, I quite enjoy learning the tools and like the process that it takes to get from point A to point B to put a project out there. And as a result of pursuing those things and streaming on Twitch, I really think that we've built kind of a solid community, and that's where my heart is at, really, in the content creation realm of things. But yep, I do stream on Twitch. I typically focus on a lot of story-oriented, narrative-driven games, and I'm learning from everybody in the space. It's a good time.
All right. Thank you so much, Rice. Welcome to you as well. I got these two together for this very special holiday episode of Game Rivals because outside of the fact that Naomi and Rice both are both streamers and both content creators, they are also siblings. If you haven't figured out from the title. And all of us have siblings. My sibling does not really play video games. We have played video games in the past growing up, as I'm sure that the both of you have done. And I kind of wanted to talk about that specifically, that dynamic. But I also want to talk about a little bit about how both of you got into content creation, and so that people can also get a little bit to know you a little bit better in terms of a content creator itself, but then afterwards also as siblings. So, who wants to kick that off? Who was actually? You know what? I'm going to ask it in a question. Who was the first to start doing like content creation in any form?
That's hard because like we both have been doing it for a long time, even before gaming stuff. We were doing music stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Go ahead, Rice Boy.
Yeah, I'll start it off by saying this. I guess I'll preface it by saying that like our childhood experiences were joint, in that we kind of followed the same, not the same, but similar creative paths. We fell in love with the same things because, first of all, video games were kind of our escape from the world. Also, like an immigrant family kind of surviving a new place in society and learning what that meant, and growing up in kind of a mixed cultured home. Video games were grounding for us, and they were kind of unifying in that way. So as a result of this kind of camaraderie that I had with my siblings, we were kind of already doing Twitch before Twitch even existed.
Within our own family.
Yeah, so like, watching each other play games and passing the controller off, that was a very familiar culture to us. And so I suppose fast forward to 2020, right? For me, I think that's when I started taking content creation more seriously, because there was this added element of me just wanting to connect with community. There were a lot of lockdowns, and during that time, it was very difficult to just communicate with people IRL. And so there was this yearning of just diving into some community where I could say, like, oh man, I belong here. And at the same time, facilitating a space where people can say the same thing. So that would have been 2020. And since I have been a regular streamer, taking breaks here and there, but enjoying the multifaceted journey that it is, learning skills along the way, but most of all, meeting people, amazing people like yourself, Max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
2020. Okay.
yeah, to tie that together. So if we're talking
Yeah.
about just like gaming and streaming, Rice Boy started first, like in 2020.
Mhm.
I had started streaming in 2021, but when it comes to like making content, I'll roll it back a bit. In about 2010, 2013 era, I actually built a community based around an artist that I really loved at the time named Tori Kelly. And that
Right.
was honestly the building blocks as to how I started content creation and community building online, because I met a ton of people that I actually got to meet in person when I went to like concerts or events. And we were like the biggest fan update account at the time, which is like really cool to look back on. It doesn't exist anymore, the account, but
Oh.
that really did catapult me into my love for like posting things online. And that's when I started making my Instagram, which was like 2018, which was just completely for fun, like not even just for with the intention to get into streaming or anything. I just wanted to post stuff about video games separate from my like personal life. So I made that Instagram account, and then 2021 jumped into streaming, even though I was really scared to. And yeah, that's the journey how I got into it.
Nice, nice. And around that time, I will say this at least for the audience that's listening. Around that time, that's when we met. So
Yes.
this would have been 2020, early 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Through Instagram is where I saw Naomi's Instagram page.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Started interacting there. Naomi started streaming, and Rice was already streaming at that time, so was like checking Rice's streams as well. And I think I've mentioned this story before on the podcast, but bears mentioning again since you're here already. Part of the reason that I got back into streaming, or at least um, had the inspiration, the drive to go back to streaming, was seeing the both of you tackling streaming the way you
Oh,
guys do. So that's a little bit of a context there as to why we've been like friends for like it's 2023. That's going on like
that's crazy.
almost 3 years, which is
Mm-hmm.
like, and I honestly couldn't be happier, because I feel like if I wasn't streaming, there would definitely be a part of me, um, like not complete. It would not be.
Mm.
Mm.
It would feel as if something is indeed missing, and
Oh,
the friendships that we've built is just it's great. And I still say, like, I'm still counting down the days that we finally can meet in
I
person
know.
and
same.
like actually do cool stuff and fun stuff together, and just like be friends in real life as well
It'll
as we
happen.
are online.
Right.
um and yeah, like it's great what you guys do, the communities that you've built, and I hope that people will check it out. By the way, links are in the description if you're watching this on YouTube,
Thank you.
or if you're listening to this on the audio version, it is in the description there as well. So, with that out of the way, I honestly want to say I'm kind of curious, and if you have questions for me, like
Mm-hmm.
feel free as well. But I'm kind of curious, who's the one that got who into gaming, or was it something that basically happened at the same time?
Go Rice Boy.
Just for context, I have about 5.5 years on Naomi.
Mm.
So, I mean, 5.5 years is a decent head start. So I, naturally would have started first. And I think that my entry into video games would be the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Oh, damn.
It
Okay.
Yeah, it belonged to my dad, and he passed it on to me, and I played the heck out of that thing. So I'm thankful to have experienced that era of gaming because it is quite humbling.
Yeah.
In that we we have games now that kind of allow us a lot of creative uh, uh, variability. Whereas before it was a lot more simplistic, a lot more difficult, not to mention not being able to save. Um, and so
Yeah.
from there onwards, there was a lot. We were pretty loyal to Nintendo, and I think, is it safe to say that Naomi, you dove in the 64 era?
Yeah, Nintendo 64. Also Game Boy though.
That's right,
I played your Game
handhelds.
Boy a lot.
Handhelds, that's right. Because we owned a Game Boy Pocket first, and then a Game Boy Color, eventually a Game Boy Advance, and then up and onwards from there.
All
Um,
right.
a lot of the family gaming happened on the N64, though.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I always tell people that I wouldn't be into gaming like, well, maybe I would have, but I wouldn't be have such a passion for it if it wasn't for my brother, because I was that little sister who like always looked up to him and like everything that he did, and so yeah, we've always been friends our whole lives, and gaming is like a really big part of that. Yeah, you're right about N64 being like the start for me because I remember Pokemon Snap and
Oh
Pokemon
yeah.
Stadium just being
Mhm.
like the core of what me and my brother and our other sister really loved to do together when we were just at home. So yeah.
Okay. So is it fair to say then that, like, at least in terms of like what made you stick with gaming, then at least for you, Naomi, would be the Pokemon franchise?
Oh yeah, definitely. That was a start.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same. Like the actually on the Game Boy Pocket before there were colors in those games, I was playing Pokemon Red, and
Oh,
so yeah, red would have been like my first thing that I dove into and like passionately tried to finish.
damn. Okay. You're my opposite in that regard because I picked up Pokemon Blue.
Oh yeah, right
Oh,
on, right
Yeah.
on. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was red for me.
Yeah.
I eventually
Uh,
got blue and yellow, realizing that they were virtually the same game.
yeah.
well, except for yellow. Yellow, you had Pikachu.
You had
That's true.
Pikachu.
Yellow was a
Yeah.
different experience.
Yeah. Yeah, so for me, that would have been. I've said this. I've mentioned this a couple of times, but for me, that would have been Secret of Mana. Even though I
Oh.
started with
Right.
the Super Nintendo and like the game that me and my sister got with the Super Nintendo came bundled with Super Mario World. This was. I'm not
Mhm.
gonna say when this was because that would age me instantly.
We had
But
a, we had an SNES too.
we were very young, and we got the Super Nintendo for our collective birthdays because our birthdays are not far apart. And yeah, so we grew up with that. And despite the fact that I love playing Super Mario World, it wasn't until I beat Secret of Mana, not even played, but like I beat Secret of Mana, where I was like, that cemented me in that, like, okay, gaming is definitely going to be a part of my life.
Mhm.
Um, Not just, and hopefully someday it would be more than just like consuming like the content of gaming,
Yes.
but more than that. So it's nice to see that both of you also have like that
Mhm.
kind of point, because everybody
Yeah.
has their point. Sometimes it is their first game that they ever
Mhm.
played. If that were true, then technically Space Invaders would make me a gamer, but that's not the fact.
Yeah,
um,
no, that's a
no.
good distinction.
Yeah. So like at least that's why I asked that question, because there is a distinction between, hey, I play games, and this is that
Mm,
point for me where I knew that gaming would be a part of my life,
yeah.
whether it be something like significant as just continuing to be a gamer or something more.
Mhm.
That's up to the individual, of course.
Yes.
Mhm.
um so you mentioned, Rice, that the content that you tend to stream is like story driven.
Yes.
What are games that you have played on stream?
Yeah, absolutely. A few. just to name a few, I've played Horizon Forbidden West, Ghost of Tsushima. Um, what's a game that I played in its entirety? Well, I also recently just completed Lies of P. If
Mm-hmm.
we're going back to like older games, one of
Mm.
the one of the kind of best SNES titles that I had ever played was Chrono Trigger. Um,
Ooh,
great game.
yes.
And like you, Max, we're definitely aging ourselves here. Um, but I just was so immersed in that world because of the music, because of the gameplay, and I don't know. I have a special like place in my heart for turn-based RPG games. And while I don't play games like that anymore, they were really influential in how I like to experience a story,
Mm.
with character dialogue, with their arcs, and how they evolve through the story. And so those to name a few. Um, I've played parts of Last of Us, which is definitely one of my favorite top games in terms of a narrative driven story. And one big one that Naomi actually played first but introduced me to was the Walking Dead series, by Telltale.
Yeah.
All of those just such pivotal moments in the creation journey for me. So
All right, that's a good one. You also mentioned The Last of Us.
mhm.
Did you play The Last of Us Part Two?
I did, yeah. I've consumed every bit of Last of Us content that I can ever imagine. It really is one of my favorite
Okay.
things.
Why's your face like that, Max?
No, no. The only reason I'm phrasing it like that is that next, like in January, they're going to be
The remastered,
releasing the remastered, which
Oh, for PS5?
yeah.
over for PS5 and I think PC, and I'm like, what? Why is that a thing?
They've remastered so much.
Why is that a thing?
'Cause-
Like the game came out like at the end of the PlayStation 4. Like just release a patch update or whatever. Don't call it remastered.
Sure.
That just
I agree.
that that weight like there's no weight to the remastered part of it. It makes no sense.
I think that as someone who is a big fan of the franchise, I do recognize that, this is following a hype wave.
Mm.
And they know they're going to make money from it. Consumers are just going to buy it because it's part of the love that they have for it. Will I? Probably not spend my money on it, but if I
Do you have the PlayStation 4 version?
I do.
You might be able to upgrade for just $10 though.
That's true.
Oh.
And I have it digitally, so
Then definitely
then
you
I should be able to,
upgrade. Yeah.
I wasn't able to upgrade part 1 because I actually own the disc version, but I have a digital PS5, so I
Oh,
wasn't able to.
they didn't have an upgrade path for that one.
They
though.
didn't. No, you had to
No.
purchase the game again if you wanted it.
Yeah.
So. No, yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
That's so funny.
That's a whole different
me
conversation.
loving a story of a game is definitely completely separate from the studio's decisions and corporate
honestly
decisions,
say.
right? So
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. True. Um, I think outside of that, there is. I will like to say that in terms of the content that you stream,
Mhm.
both of you stream kind of similar content.
Mhm.
Naomi, however, does tend to occasionally go on the more spooky side.
Yeah.
And both of us tend to be scaredy cats.
Yep.
Hence I only limit myself to Halloween to playing the spooky stuff.
Yeah, Naomi's braver than the both of us, Max.
Yeah, that's honestly, you know what? That's 100% fair.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I'm okay with being a scaredy cat.
Yes, exactly.
I kind of want to know what is the scariest game you like both of you have played. I want to start with Naomi,
Yeah.
since she has streamed more of those
Yes.
games. But I also know that both of you tend to do collab streams together, and it's usually specifically those kinds of games.
That's right.
So, Naomi, what is the scariest game that you think that you have streamed or at least even if you haven't streamed, like played
Yeah.
so far.
Yeah. So just quickly, the reason I play horror games now is because on stream I feel like there's people with me. And
Mhm.
growing up, I would literally never touch the controller if Rice Boy was playing a scary game, like Dead Space. I remember he played back then. He played Outlast back then. He would be like, "You want to try?" And I'm like, "No, no, no, no." I was so scared.
But
So
she was
now that
happy to
I'm
watch.
streaming, I was happy to like watch with like my hands over my eyes. So now I feel like I want to actually be the one holding the controller and doing it and saying I beat it. So that's why I do that.
Love that.
I'd say the scariest is probably Outlast 2. I played by myself on stream and I had to stop. Like I didn't continue it because it was too stressful. And like if you don't know, we're Filipino and high blood pressure runs in the family. So I could feel my heart rate just like increasing.
How many Filipinos can relate to that?
I know. And then also me and Rice Boy did a collab for Visage, and that scared the beep
Yeah.
out of me. Like I slept on the floor of Rice Boy's stream room where he is right now because I didn't want to leave.
It also produced one of the more popular clips from the both of us, because there was a moment.
I remember that. I was there.
Yes, you were there.
I was there.
And to contextualize for our listeners and anyone that's watching, it's funny because when Naomi and I get scared, we actually kind of get mad at each other. Or irritated with each other's mannerisms or behaviors. And there was a point in time when I just thought Naomi was being completely ridiculous. And the moment that made it funny was like, I told Naomi and I looked at her in the eye and I was like, Naomi, chill out. And literal seconds later, we turn around with the joystick and the ghost was right behind us
and jump scared us.
And me and my arrogance was immediately humbled in my chair.
And like I let out like a blood curdling scream, and Rice Boy's son is like sleeping in the other room, so he like slaps my leg really hard. He's like, "Be quiet."
Oh my gosh. Oh, just thinking about that just makes me laugh so hard. Oh, I had to hold in my laugh so much.
And so I
My face
publicly
hurts.
apologized in the comment thread because,
for telling me to chill out.
Yeah, it was a typical, like, it was definitely a sibling moment.
Yeah. Oh my god. That was such a good moment. I've rewatched that clips. Like I was there and I still rewatch the clip so many times. It's just that good, folks.
Yeah, it was kind of like a serves you right, Rice. Like,
yeah, that's what you get.
You acted brave, but you not.
But to be fair, Visage, like even like watching the stream, like Visage also just scared me. I was
Oh
like,
man, it was a creepy atmosphere.
Yeah. So wait, is Visage then the creepiest game that you've like experienced, Naomi?
I think I would say Visage. Yeah.
Okay. For me, it's literally everything. So like, I played Dead Space this past Halloween, Extraction specifically on Wii, and it's like I've played this game 13, 14 years ago. There's nothing that can scare, and like halfway through the game, I was like being scared by random stuff.
Yes.
I've actually regressed and I've gotten worse. At this point, I want to keep it safe, and I'm just gonna stick to Resident Evil. And like,
yeah, right.
Like, cut to like next Halloween, me playing Resident Evil, getting scared all over the place.
I mean,
Resident Evil is stressful too, though.
Biohazard is quite
stressful, yes, but it's like it's not scary.
It's different. Yeah, that's fair.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I
mean, the title.
Although you'll never catch me playing it in like VR though.
True.
Thank you. I tried VR for the very first time.
Oh damn! When?
We went to go visit our friends Frozenstein and Mechanism, and Mech had his VR, and I played some Beat Saber. But I did think about playing horror games with these goggles, and that would stress me out. I think that would do things to my body.
Would any of you be interested in playing like Phasmo in VR?
No.
And
Yo,
that's the
Naomi, that was
bravest.
too quick. That's
That's
too
the
quick.
bravest of us three. So
Yeah, ain't no way.
Honestly, fair. Would not play that in VR. The fact that people play that in VR is like nuts. Oh my gosh.
oh my goodness.
Yeah. So like, is there like any is there any game that you guys are like looking forward to like exploring or like in terms of like maybe streaming or in another way of like posting on like your social media or like to talk about in the future? Because one thing that I do know about the two of you, of course, is like a big thing is the whole community building,
Mhm.
is also interacting with the community, but also exploring games and content that are maybe not as much talked about. Like one of the games that I do remember, I do not remember who streamed it. I want to say both of you did. I think it was a collab when you guys played Venba.
Venba, I played Venba.
That was Naomi.
All right, cool. Yeah, that was Naomi's stream. Yeah, like so, like games like that, you don't really see a lot of people like bring that up,
Yeah.
which is a little bit of a shame. I am
Yeah.
glad that it did get nominated during the Game Awards and get some respect on that name
Yes.
because
Mhm.
it is like a really cool game. And I actually, honestly, after watching the stream, I started playing it myself a little bit, and I still want to finish that one.
Right.
It's a good one.
You know, shout out Game Pass on that one, but.
Uh-huh.
Game Pass.
Yeah, so but like are there any games in the future that you would like to explore in a similar manner?
Rice, but do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
I need to think.
So I'll name games that I haven't yet played, even though they have been released. Because
That's also fine.
yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing Alan Wake 2.
Mhm.
I happen to be one of the people who experienced Alan Wake when it first came out. And through a content creator, actually. I hadn't been playing it, but through the Rad Brad, shouts out to Rad Brad, I watched a few videos to get me into it, and that's when I started to play the game. And Alan Wake 2, once it was even announced that it was coming out, was such a treat for people that had played the first one, because it had been so long, and so now it's just, I'm glad that it's getting the recognition that it deserves from even just a graphical standpoint to a storytelling standpoint. So I'm excited for that. Now I gotta look at a schedule here. So while I'm doing that, for 2024 games, yeah, Naomi, you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, with this streaming journey as well, I've been able to catch up on titles that I didn't really have access to growing up. So like big, iconic titles like Dead Space. So my next venture is to finish the Mass Effect series.
That's
I
right.
played Mass Effect 1 and 2 on stream, all of it, and I need to do Mass Effect 3. So that's my next adventure. And then I also want to do Andromeda because people keep saying that it's like different, but it's Mass Effect. And
Yeah.
there's more stuff in there.
It's very
If you know what I
different.
mean.
There's definitely stuff in there. There's stuff that will make you question why they made some decisions, but yeah,
But you
there's
should
definitely
play it.
stuff in there.
You should.
I will.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm actually kind of curious to see like what your opinion is on it, though.
Max, I got one.
Oh,
for
cool.
like new stuff. I'm sorry, Naomi. Were you done?
Go. No, you can go now.
The one that I was actually like thinking of that I forgot to tell you was Hellblade. The sequel to Hellblade.
Yeah. The sequel,
which
yeah.
both Naomi and I have streamed, which is cool.
Yep.
And so I'm really, really looking forward to that and exploring, the story elements of that. And another game that I don't typically really stream, but one that I want to play because it was a part of my childhood was Tekken 8.
Ooh, that is coming out really soon.
Yeah, so I'm a huge
Yeah.
Anyway,
Nice.
I hope those answers suffice.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, like everybody has their thing that they wanna they're looking forward to in advance. Like for me, that would be like that. I'm like for one, I'm always of course looking forward to Final Fantasy VII
Oh yeah.
Rebirth.
Oh yeah.
And looking forward to how that is. I'll have to figure out how I'm gonna play it since I don't own a PlayStation 5, but
Fair
I'll figure
enough.
something out. Yeah, that one is a big one that I'm honestly looking forward to. And there was also one that they actually announced on the indie showcase that they
Okay.
had in November.
hmm
Damn it, I forgot the name real quickly. Oh right, Shantae Advance, which
Okay.
is
Oh.
if you don't know what Shantae is this Metroid style platformer from back in the Game Boy Color
Oh,
days.
shouts out to Metroid.
And they were working on a Game Boy Advance sequel,
Okay.
which they finished or pretty much were close to finishing, but had to axe it,
Got
unfortunately.
it.
Um, in that time, there have been a lot of Shantae sequels on Game Boy, not Game Boy Advance, DS, 3DS. Um, and of course on consoles and PC now that that's open to them as well.
Right.
So that having that lost game come back is really awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't know that we were working on that, but they announced that and it's like 2024. Yo, I'm there. I honestly love anything Shantae. It's a really good. It's a really fun game. So if you like that Metroid style exploring, if you don't mind like the backtracking stuff with fun characters, cool like transformations, like turning into like a elephant into like a cute little monkey with abilities and doing special stuff. Because Shantae is like this character that's like a half genie.
Ooh.
So she has genie powers, and those powers are transformation
I'm a
powers.
genie in a
Ooh,
And she attacks
Shantae.
and she attacks by whipping her cool purple hair.
I whip my hair back and forth. I whip
Ooh.
my hair.
Literally in that set. Literally in that exact way.
That's amazing.
It's really cool. I honestly recommend checking out the Shantae games.
Yeah, I'm
But it's
enticed.
cool to see that
Yeah.
that's coming. It's from WayForward, who are like kings of like pixel art gaming. They've done a lot of stuff outside of Shantae, of course, and even like some licensed stuff. I think remember the what's it called again? The Universal Dark Anthology movies that they were
Yes.
doing. Like they did like the new Mummy movie with
Oh,
Tom
Tom
Cruise.
Cruise.
Yeah.
yeah.
They made a tie-in game which was a demake of that kind of
Oh,
or
interesting.
demake / prequel of that movie, and it's like this 2D action shooter, kind of like Contra, and
Contra was good.
it's apparently really good.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Contra was
I think it
difficult
released
too.
on everything. Yeah, they even like, which makes sense because they made Contra 4 on
Right.
DS. Yeah.
There's I'm looking at the games now that are to be released for 2024. We did see a few on Nintendo Direct. Like, I'm really interested in the Princess Peach game. That
Oh,
one
yeah.
looks super, super fun.
Yeah.
What else do we got here? So speaking of Mass Effect, Naomi, some developers who branched off into another studio called Inflection Studios is creating an MMO called Nightingale. And Nightingale is something that I'm really looking forward to dive into as well.
Nightingale.
Yeah, check that out. February is early access, but it's gonna be because Naomi, you know how we often. I'm sorry if I'm going off track here, Max. But
No, it's fine. It's fine.
But you know that we played Destiny 2 quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm looking for like another game that will kind of take me that deep into the lore again. Because I don't know that Destiny is really fulfilling that for me right now. But Nightingale
Not anymore.
yeah, Nightingale is
Well,
probably
considering that they delayed like the next
yes,
the next DLC,
yes,
I can imagine. Yeah.
So there's a little bit of push and pull with Destiny 2.
Yeah,
with
Destiny's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole other podcast episodes.
Yeah.
Yo, honestly, I would love to have you guys on for that.
Okay,
though.
awesome.
Yeah. Since I'm the least versed in Destiny, so that would be
Okay,
perfect.
for sure. Yeah, would love to.
Okay,
Yeah.
Rex.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So night. I didn't even know that people from that became like a new studio. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So looking
Definitely
forward
putting
to
on
that.
my radar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something maybe we can
All right.
all link up on.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, there's not a lot of games that we can link up on, but something like this would be
That
worth
would
it.
be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Speaking about being able to link up and stuff, I do want to talk a little bit more about like the holidays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Usually that's the time when people come together and like play games and have fun, be merry,
Mm,
spend time again together with family. As I mentioned before, I also have a sibling, but we don't really play games. Back then, we used to do so.
right.
So the way that we were interacting was that I was like, we're only 2 years apart. So you would think that we would be like easy to like play games with each other,
Hmm.
but we also have other family members, and I usually played games with like one of our cousins,
Right.
and he's like five ish, that no sorry 2 3 years is older than me. So he's like way more advanced in
Right.
like playing games, so I learned from him. And so whenever me and my sister were playing Super Mario World,
Hmm.
I play the speedrunner's way because I learned that from him.
Nice.
But she, like, I would explain to her a bajillion times, like, hold this button, you will run, you will get through the level faster. And she would just straight up, like, say no and just walk through a level. And I'm like, oh my gosh, please hurry up
The
so I
pain you
can play
felt.
some more. like, looking back, of course, I should have been more
Of
patient, but
course.
I
Right.
was like, I was a little
Yeah, you
brat.
were a kid. You were a
Um,
kid.
like as a kid, honestly, as a kid, I was way more bratty than I am like now. Now I'm like way
You don't
more
seem
chill and
bratty at all,
whatever.
Max.
No, not at all.
But yeah, so like that was my experience, at least with my younger
Mm,
sibling. And from time to time we would link up and play some games.
mhm.
Like we'll hit up the local arcade and we'll play. We won't really play video games, but sometimes if it's an interesting game, like maybe Mario Kart in the arcade, we'll play that together.
Right.
Or she has like a PlayStation 2 and she bought what's that franchise from PlayStation 2 again? The karaoke one.
Oh, what?
Um
There's a what?
I forgot.
There's a
Is it
karaoke franchise?
SingStar? SingStar.
I feel ashamed to not know
Oh.
Yeah.
this because we're Filipino.
Wait, you guys don't know
Sync
SingStar?
Star.
Yeah, I
No
don't think so.
shot.
So we didn't own a PlayStation 2. So that one
Okay.
kind of went over our
Yeah.
heads.
Okay, fair. We didn't own one either. She bought one like way
Got it.
after the fact, like by the
Oh,
time the
oh, oh.
PlayStation 3 came out. So she picked up a PlayStation 2 Slim for cheap because my cousin, the same cousin that taught me gaming,
Mhm.
um, he owned SingStar on PlayStation 3, and she loved it when we went by
Oh,
like a couple of years ago.
got it.
And she was like, I'm gonna pick that up too. So around that time she picked up SingStar. Occasionally we would do that, but
Right.
usually we would go to his place and do it
Right.
because everybody comes there and it's like a whole fun thing. Um and occasionally we'll play like stuff, but we honestly we haven't really played a game together in a really long time.
Right.
But for me, at least during Christmas, we always would try to play games together.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? Like, do you guys have any kind of holiday related stories when it comes to gaming together? Like, like we know that you both bonded over Pokemon, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I wish that was a game that I would be able to bond with my sibling over, but at least we have SingStar together.
Yes.
And and she's been begging me to like and Just Dance, but like I am bad, so that's a different thing altogether. But we haven't played like either of those in a while. But she has been wanting me to like, hey, like bring that over. Like we'll see.
Aw,
But
We
yeah,
love
what
Just
what is
Dance.
we do.
I know. but what has been your like,
Mhm.
at least growing up? What has been the holiday games for you guys?
Yeah.
Sorry, my light just like went out, but
Oh, we can still, yeah, okay. It's good now.
yeah, we're good.
Yeah, like it's funny. It's different every year. Sometimes even away from video games, we'll play like fun, like let's say the best. Are you familiar with the show Minute to Win It?
Might be North
No.
American.
Essentially, they
Yeah.
are just silly little tasks that you have 1 minute to complete, like putting pasta on a straw, but only using your mouth. And
Oh,
so you have
okay.
like 60 minutes. So your straw's in here, and you have to
60
try
seconds.
60 seconds, and then you have to
You said
try
minutes.
try and pick up these noodles, and it's quite difficult. So we've done stuff like that. But in terms of like video games, I think cozy, right? I think very cozy during Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to play
And
something too difficult.
not just video games, but like tabletop games. We did a
Right.
lot of like
Hmm.
card games and board games with some of our cousins.
Mhm. That's
There's
right.
the Barbie game that we used to play a lot. Cousins.
It's true. We did play that.
Break the Safe, Clue.
Seen
We
It.
played a lot. Seen It. Yeah, that was a big one.
Oh.
Seen It was a big one.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
My light.
Yeah, there was a Seen It game that used to scare Naomi. It would have been the Harry Potter one because the background
It
music
used to scare me for some
was
reason.
was just quite
Really?
stressful for her, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, don't play Nightmare. That's also a board game. Like that's a VCR board
A
game.
VCR.
VCR. That's
Yeah,
wild.
now would technically be a DVD board game, but yeah, VCR board game.
Bruh.
Yeah. And all right, okay, so fair point. So the thing that I used to do that we used to do is like we'd visit my cousin, because their mom would then like make like Dutch pancakes, which is awesome,
Ooh.
and like all the kids from like the neighborhood and stuff would come together, and like we'd like play Super Mario World. We'd play Street Racer. I don't know if you know
Street
that one. That's
Racer.
also
Oh my gosh,
on
dude.
the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. Holy.
Oh my god, seriously? You actually know Street
Come
Racer?
on, dude. Like, okay, SNES is like a
Okay.
hidden gem, and I
Oh, absolutely.
honestly feel like that was ahead of its time.
Yo, Street Racer was like I tried playing that a couple of years ago and I couldn't. I do not have like the I don't know what it is. I feel like I don't have like the dexterity to play that game anymore.
Right.
But yeah, we'd play stuff like that, and I don't know why this was because my cousin had like his sister lived in the US, so she got him his SNES,
Mhm.
which was an American one.
Right.
And for whatever reason, I think it has to do with the fact that that one tries to push 60 frames
Oh,
per
does
second,
it?
whereas back then the European consoles would push 50
I
frames
see.
because that's how European TVs work.
Right.
And like whenever he would get like the superstar and the screen would get super busy, it would slow
Of
down.
course, the frame rate
Oh.
drops.
And like the whole room would burst out into slow motion, and like everybody was cheering
That's a core memory.
because because it was so cool, and like that's something that we both like were there for.
Right.
And like yeah, she was usually like my younger sister was then usually more observing at that
Mhm.
point, and it was the older kids, including myself, that were actually playing the games. But it was still like a shared experience.
Yes.
When it came to my family in that regard, we would sometimes play Monopoly.
Nice.
Monopoly and Ludo. I don't know if you guys both
I
played
don't know
Ludo
Ludo.
before.
I've never heard of that one.
Oh my god, that's a classic. Like from where I'm from, like from Ghana,
Mhm.
like Ludo is like a classic board game that everybody knows to play. Even now, whenever I get the chance
Oh.
to visit my grandma,
Mhm.
my dad's mom, because that's all they do. They only play that every day.
That's
So
funny.
like the last time we were there, like I like in the morning they were playing and I joined in.
Mhm.
I like they like beat my ass
Of course.
because I suck at dice roll.
Wait, it kind of looks like that Sorry game. Do you know Sorry, Kuya?
Oh, yeah, I do know Sorry. Maybe.
Yeah, it's a bit similar to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
listeners, Kuya means big brother in Tagalog. So I call Rice Boy that. Just so if you're wondering.
But I just refer to Naomi
Yeah.
as Naomi because I guess
Because I'm younger.
I could say bunso, which means youngest, and some families do that, but sorry, didn't mean to give you like a whole Tagalog lesson in the middle of the
Oh
I know.
that's absolutely fine. I'm pretty sure there are people out there that appreciate the lesson. It's like honestly, the holidays is I think for everyone it means something different.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I am kind of curious what the holidays means to you guys.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good question, man. If you don't mind, Naomi, I'll go first.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, Christmas is pretty special. Uh, it's pretty special because we typically are around family, and that's just a tradition that we've uh, we've kind of created for ourselves over the years. And as you grow, you kind of realize how, in and around that culture, how different people can be during the holidays.
Mm.
And we want to keep spreading that kind of joy to, whoever we're with. And so I'm kind of speaking through the lens of a parent now. Well, not kind of, I am. And it's a pretty interesting thing to think of these things full circle, but not, when you don't have a child, pre-child, you're like, you look at the world so differently, and so it's kind of through a me lens. So now I want to provide a space where my son can just like latch on to these memories, like the frame rate dropping on the TV and everybody freaking out. Like that is a core memory,
Yeah.
Whether that's like us doing a Just Dance thing, which Naomi has already created memories with her nephew, to Randy Newman's You Got a Friend in Me. Who knew you could dance to You Got a Friend in Me? But you can. And there's a
Wait, that's a
song
that's
in the
It's
option.
in the
new
new Just
Just
Dance.
Dance
No.
with a Woody, someone dressed up as Woody.
How do you dance to that song?
Just
There's a video
flail.
of me doing it. It's really embarrassing.
Pretty funny.
Oh my god, I kind of want to see that now.
I'll send
You
it to
gotta
you later.
post it. You gotta post it somewhere. It's funny.
Dang, okay. That's really cool.
Yeah. So
And honestly, yeah. Anything particular for you, Naomi?
Well, I just think that it's cool with the holidays, what it means to you can change over time.
mhm.
And I know that Christmas used to mean something different for me in other seasons of my life, but I think now it really means like rest and
Mm.
reflection. And obviously family because you spend that time with your family. But the end of the year and like Christmas time, holiday time has really become just like kind of a time for me to just take it easy, relax, and not think about too much, and just go with the flow kind of thing. So,
Love that.
yeah. Again, it could change in a few years. It could mean something different. I mean, I've had holidays where it's really sad, and
hmm
that year maybe it wasn't as happy or joyful. But again, it changes with time and with circumstances, and just kind of learning how to adapt to every season.
Mm.
Mm.
Because holidays are the same time every year, but we change as people. Our circumstances change.
Yeah.
And
That's a very
yeah,
eloquent response.
thank you.
Yeah. That was yeah. Honestly, that's the best kind of response.
I'm
Thanks,
Because
older,
not.
guys.
but I look up to her, like in a lot of
Aw.
ways. So
Oh, that's sweet.
We both look up to each other.
yeah, I still fuck
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, mine are more silent.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Like I get pretty high on the decibel levels there.
I'm getting better at burping though. Like I could get to your level with the burps now.
That's true. Naomi does have a burp counter on her stream.
That's true. Oh my god! Wow, this conversation took a hard left.
Yeah, the way that it just turned, bro.
You had to expect a little bit of this.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. So with the holidays, honestly, I like, at least for me this year, it's going to be a bit different.
Hmm.
And I talked to you guys about it beforehand.
Mhm.
Um, but for me, the holidays has always been, because it's so close to my birthday.
Right.
Um, and not just my birthday. I have two other siblings, like the younger sibling, and of course the older sibling. All of us are literally near each other in terms of birthdays,
Right.
which is ridiculous. We like the like we all basically celebrated our birthday on the same day, as essentially to make it cheaper for us back in the day.
Oh man, we hear that.
Um, and yeah, like that's always a thing, and even now, like we'll always celebrate our birthdays together,
Hmm.
on a day that's close to either of ours' birthday. um, and that's always something that has, like, I feel like that's the part that's part of what's kept us close.
Right.
Outside of back in the day watching uh like teen dramas.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey, we love those
no,
too.
but no, seriously, like I don't know how that happened. I don't know why that happened, but it happened. And we're okay with it.
Yeah.
Like the fact that when they announced that they were finally gonna finish the story of the Gilmore Girls, both of us were like, both of us were like so excited. And then
That's
when it dropped on Netflix, we were just so anxious to watch
Right?
it together. We were like, it's weird,
It's
but
wild, but
like
it's
it's
so good.
okay, and we both loved it.
Hmm.
And like when it ended, we were like, oh my
There was a void
gosh.
in
And
your
it's
heart.
like, but no, it was no, we got
Oh,
closure,
you got
sort of.
closure. You're okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, because they actually put like, they technically put an end to it, but also like left a little door open. But we're like, oh, it ain't happening.
No.
But like at least we have closure for like the story that they left behind.
Right.
And yeah, it's like those kind of things that I still share with my younger sister. We go to movies together, usually like the
Aw.
Marvel movies and stuff like
We
that.
just saw. We just
Yeah.
saw a
um
Marvel movie together.
uh oh dang, was it the
Yeah, we
Marvels?
saw the Marvels.
Yeah, it's really
Oh,
good.
I have not seen
No
it yet. we
spoilers.
we're still we're
Yeah, we won't
still we're
talk about
still
it.
planning on
No
going.
spoilers.
But yeah, so like there is one more question that I wanted to ask
Mm-hmm.
y'all before we head out for this episode. And that is, considering when this episode is coming out,
Mm-hmm.
is there a collaboration that you guys are working on?
Ooh, I do. I have a few actually. So beginning of December, I am doing like a gingerbread building with someone named It's Saray on Twitch. We're going to be having just like conversations and building a gingerbread house. It's gonna be
Will
cute.
you be posting this content somewhere else, considering that this comes out after that?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Oh yeah, true. But I do have another collab coming in the new year with Umbrellas.
Oh,
We're gonna be playing Amnesia. So I'm gonna walk her through Amnesia 1. And then she's gonna walk me through the second one on my channel or whatever. And we're both scaredy cats, so we'll see how that
yeah.
goes.
For those, by the way, that checked out the Spooptober special episode, Umbrellas was also on that episode, and I talked to her about it. So I'm really looking forward to that collaboration because she
Yeah.
is also honorary member of the Scaredy Cat Club.
Yeah. With all of us.
Facts. Um.
All right.
So I have a collaboration planned. Still in the
Ooh.
works. But it's also with Naomi and a geezer. And this
Oh,
collaboration is all going to be the Halo campaigns. Naomi has not run the Halo campaigns ever. And
Ever.
oh,
it's something that Geezer and myself like share a deep love for and would love to kind of take Naomi through the campaign and see if get her to experience the whole journey. Chief, Cortana, all the characters who come along the
nice.
way. So that's a big one. And this is a personal goal of mine, and hopefully anyone who's listening, anyone who's watching, and you guys talking to me right now can hold me accountable. but I do want to have more guests to just have conversation with on the stream. If any of you follow along, I did have a guest named The Six Eats come by, and we talked about food and experiences around food. And that kind of segment of my stream, of my content, is called Food with the Fam. And so I want to have more Food with the Fam episodes, and hopefully just get into conversation about real life. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So with that, we are coming to the end of the episode. Naomi, Rice, thank you so much for being here. Could you please share with the audience where they can find you?
Yeah, so you can find me at NaomiLasagna on Instagram, Twitter/X, Twitch, TikTok, YouTube. It's all the same username. Just make sure you know how to spell lasagna.
Yeah, I make that mistake so many times. I still have to double check. Like, did I? Is it NGA? Is
Lasagna.
no? That's not correct.
Lasagna.
Lasagna.
No. Exactly.
As for myself, you can type in https colon / linktr.ee/RiceBoyyyTV. You can find me on all of the socials mentioned above. And yeah, RiceBoyyyTV with 3 Ys.
Homie did straight up the hyperlink.
https colon.
Oh my god. Oh, that is so classic. Oh, thank you guys for sharing that. Thank you guys for sharing your stories. And yeah, thank you all for listening or watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to leave a like and leave a comment, and don't forget to
Smash
subscribe
that like button
for more of this kind of
Hit the
content.
bell.
This is the last
Do it
episode
all.
of 2023.
I keep interrupting Max.
Oh, you can keep doing that. That's fine. I just keep going.
Hit that like button, subscribe.
Wow, we're part of the last episode
Yo.
of the year.
Yeah,
Follow Max
last
up.
episode of the
Yay.
year.
Let's freaking go.
The next episode that's going live will be the year in review recap of what games have come out.
Nice.
I'll be covering that, so there will be no news again for the next episode. But you can still catch those also on your favorite podcasting services. Our home is on Spotify, but you can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast. You name it, you could probably find Game Rivals there. You can always send feedback at Gmail, which is GameRivalsFeedback@gmail.com. You can find me on pretty much everything, Maximilian_X, Twitch, Instagram.
Follow him now.
Follow.
Do it.
Follow or you're dead to me.
Oh damn! What the heck? Jeez, so much aggression, Rice.
For you, anything, Max.
That's what I'm saying. I will eat your babies.
Yo, people don't know the context.
No, the people don't know it's on my YouTube channel. Like if you've seen it, you know. Like if you weren't there, you know it. It's just
If you know kind of thing.
exactly.
Friggin' Rosalina. Damn.
Oh boy.
And yeah, I think that's it. That's all the places that you can find me and the podcast and our guests. So without further ado, I have been and always will be Maximilian X.
I have been and always will be Naomi Lasagna.
I have been and always will be RiceBoyyyTV.
And we'll catch you in the next one later.
Peace.
Bye, everyone.